In a now deleted tweet, Elon Musk originally posted a conspiracy theory that is circulating about the attack on Paul Pelosi, Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband, sustained over the weekend. A man allegedly invaded the Speaker's home on Friday and assaulted Mr. Pelosi with a hammer.
Musk, who is also Twitter's new owner, responded to Hillary Clinton's tweet of an LA Times story that linked the intruder David DePape to QAnon. So Hillary Clinton's tweet read, quote, "The Republican Party and its mouthpieces now regularly spread hate and deranged conspiracy theories. It is shocking but not surprising that violence is the result. As citizens, we must hold them accountable for their words and the actions that follow." Musk's original tweet perpetuated claims about the nature of the attack, tweeting at Clinton, suggesting there might be more than meets the eye. This is the tweet that was scrapped. So the New York Times wrote a story about the billionaire's tweets about the attack. And joining us now to discuss this is political commentator Amisha Cross. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
So it's important to, I think get this straight. So Elon tweeted at Hillary a link to this, not a reputable news site that was claimed, and then they had a news article claiming that this assailant was like a gay hookup or something of that nature. Now this outlet has, and then the funny thing, this outlet in the past has, I think, claimed that Hillary Clinton was killed and replaced with a body double. So it was funny that he was tweeting that at her. Look, I defend Elon Musk when I agree with what he's doing, but he absolutely should not have done that. There is no reason to think that theory has zero credibility. There's no, there's no reason we don't need to go to elaborate, what was this guy doing here when we have evidence that he's a mentally ill person, the rambling nature of the things he's expressed. It would be extraordinarily unlikely that he was a homeless, crazy person with crazy thoughts, and then also was someone Paul Pelosi met for romance. That doesn't make any sense. Why?
This is conservative conspiracy theories run amok. These are the same folks who push Pizzagate. These are the same folks who believe that there's a cabal and child sex rings happening in random places across the country, specifically in D.C., led by a Democratic Party. These are individuals who are problematic, and I would not call the site that he quoted or retweeted a news site, because it's not. It is a conspiracy theory site, and it knows its audience. Elon Musk is smarter than what he is showing on Twitter. And it's frustrating because right now, at a time when the nation should, quite frankly, be giving thoughts and prayers to the entire Pelosi family, because make no mistake, this was a very dangerous attack on a man who's 82 years old. He could have died. Partisanship aside, that should be where our hearts lie at this point. There has been an uptick in the danger that is being placed on the families of individuals who happen to be of the Democratic background or of the Democratic Party for quite some time since the disillusionment of former President Trump's ideas of winning the 2020 election. That is true. We saw it grow tremendously after January 6th, and these death threats are happening. People are showing up where they're not supposed to be, at these folks' personal homes with weapons. This is a thing. And it's not just Nancy Pelosi who's experiencing it. We've also seen heightened calls for security from members of the squad, AOC, Ayanna Pressley, and others. This is a scary place to be. And this root of violence, this sickening thing that seems to be happening in our culture, the increasing partisanship across America that somehow is creating avenues for people to push towards literally creating an environment of death and destruction for individuals and their families who have taken on the mantle of simply serving their country, is something none of us should condone.
Somebody showed up at Brett Kavanaugh's house, right? Someone attacked.
And I called that out as well.
Yeah, no, I guess I disagree, or I take umbrage at the idea that there's this unique and mounting appetite for
January
in practice
6th
political
protesters
violence.
came there and hollered out Pelosi. We're looking for Pelosi. The same people who said that they wanted to rape and murder AOC. That is something that is very real. And I think that we would be remiss if we sat here and denied that these people are in actual literal danger, because there are individuals across this country who are crazy enough to act on those things.
What do you think, Batya?
Well, getting back to Elon Musk, I will say that once I saw him tweet the link, I did have that thought of, as a journalist, like, oh, I guess this is now in the mainstream, right? Before it was like, okay, we could talk like conspiratorially, like, oh, this doesn't add up, that doesn't add up. There was a recording of the 911 phone call, not of Paul Pelosi, but of the dispatcher claiming that Paul Pelosi knew the name of the attacker and that he had called him a friend. The San Francisco police are now denying that he knew him. But there was stuff kind of floating around, and you would think like, okay, I wonder, what actually happened. But it was in the realm of conspiracy theory, crazy far right. But I have to admit, when I saw Elon Musk, who has 110 million followers on Twitter, tweet the link, my first thought was, oh, I guess this is now in the mainstream. And, which is not to say that, he shouldn't have been allowed to tweet it, which I don't know whether he should have or shouldn't have tweeted it. Probably not, because it was like a really, this site is not reputable. But that impact of when somebody has that big of a following, what they say almost de facto becomes part of the mainstream conversation. That's something that I think people need to be aware of when they're at that level. I think the same is true of big influencers on the left. Like, you have to be careful about what you say, because it's no longer just fun and games. Like, dude, you own the platform now. It's like, it's just no longer fun and games. And I think he needs to step up his game and be a bit more careful.
Well, especially because conservatives often say, can't we wait for all the facts in like a mass shooting or something where, did he get the gun illegal? We want to know details before we say, would any of the policies you're proposing actually have done anything? Or even in police shootings, when there's a police shooting of a suspect, I mean, sometimes it is legitimate. We want to, what does the body cam footage show? So that is a good impulse to say, well, let's wait till we know more. That was not what was being done here. It was just wild speculation based on, well, I heard maybe in the 911 call he said he was his friend. Maybe he would have said he was his friend because he was in the background and he didn't want to get hit with a hammer. I mean, like, there are all sorts of more reasonable explanations. And then just the fact that this clearly is, obviously we need to know more about this person's background, but we already have overwhelming evidence to suggest that this person has serious mental health problems, and imagined that fairies were chasing him, like actual the fictional creature, which then suggests an obvious
possible addiction issues.
What was going on here becomes pretty obvious. And you don't need to go looking for really, really out there explanations. So the impulse to wait and then accept the thing that makes sense is a good impulse, one that often serves conservatives who are pushing when mainstream people jump to conclusions, as they often do. But that is a good impulse that was not put to good use here. And obviously, I think, going back to what you're saying earlier, Misha, absolutely there's irresponsible extremist rhetoric going on right now. I think it would be to the country's absolute benefit to turn down some of that, no matter who is doing it, because yes, there will, danger, even if it's just a small number of very unstable people who hear something and then they're going to do it. But I think it's hard because there also political rhetoric has just been overheated really since the dawn of time, and you have to have robust arguments. But we haven't seen things
like threats on Governor Whitmer's life. Like, we haven't seen
people who want
to kidnap individuals and then blow up bridges and go about and
I don't agree with that. There's been political violence. I don't think there's more political violence now than historically.
We've had presidents who've been assassinated. Yeah. We've had civil rights leaders who've been assassinated. There's political violence throughout our nation's history. But the vitriol that we're seeing now, in a large part, is spread by these conspiracy theories and the rise of social media in terms of it being the behemoth and people not actually investigating what they're reading, but just going back and utilizing that to create their own echo chambers of understanding and then be vitriolic and utilize that vitrilism to actually commit violence. That is something that is extremely scary. And I think that both parties need to really work harder at trying to reel it in, because it's happening to Democrats right now. In the next few years, Republicans could be the top targets. Who knows? At the end of the day, we need to reel this in. It's okay to disagree. That's what we are, that's what this nation is bred on, a lot of disagreement and a lot of people from multiple sides of the partisan spectrum. But we're not a country that should ever be okay with threats to our humanity, with threats to our elected leaders.
I think it should be reeled in because it's just unhealthy for society, not because I'm actually concerned about widespread political violence, but either way, yes, let's bring it down a notch. Well, that does it for us for today. Tomorrow, I'll be back with Brianna Joy Gray, and we'll discuss all the important news of the day. So it was so wonderful having Batya and Amisha with us today. Thanks so much. And be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss any content for those of you who like to listen while on the go. Now available anywhere that podcasts are available. We're available on Roku. Just lots of good things happening in general. Lots of ways to consume Rising, which is wonderful. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Take care.